again, make sure you introduce yourselves. Start with Ira.
Hey Luke, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm Ira Schofel of WarChant.com. Man, if you could, you obviously played at high levels of college football. What was it attracted you about Florida State? What attracted you to Florida State coming off of the season they just came off of?
Yeah, I think for me, my portal experience was a little different than probably a lot of guys, just because, you know, I was going to go back to Wake Forest, and I was ready to go back to Wake Forest, but then our head coach, he resigned, and, you know, that kind of threw me in a loop and kind of put me in a, you know, kind of a pressure cooker where I felt like I was late into the portal, and, you know, kind of, I feel like it's normal to just have nerves in that situation where it's my first time in 5 years where I didn't have, you know, a sense of home and, like, know exactly where I was going to be. So, you know, I weighed all my options, and, you know, talking to Coach Norvell, Coach Malzahn, Coach Hand, getting down here and visiting, you know, I felt like it felt like home to me, and it felt like home to my parents. They embraced my parents and myself, and, you know, right away I felt like it was a good fit. And, you know, I think that you look at what Coach Norvell's done here at Florida State in the past. I've been in the ACC for 5 years, so I've been able to watch Florida State from afar. And obviously last year was, you know, not great, but I mean, just a year ago they were undefeated. The year before that, I think they won 8 or 9 games in a row, and steady improvements is what I've seen from Florida State from afar, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
We're gonna go up front here to Chris.
I know you come from a football family, so I'm sure coaches matter to you a great deal. When you talk to Coach Hand, what is it about him that stands out to you as a guy who wants to get further developed in the college game?
Yeah, football-wise, from talking to Coach Hand right away, I could tell he was super knowledgeable. You know, he's someone that, you know, he's talking to me about techniques, talking to me about schemes, stuff like that. When I came down here, we were breaking down tape, and I liked everything he had to say, and I liked the way that he approaches coaching. So that was something that was cool. And then I think that on a personal level, something that's important to me is, you know, just like having someone that, you know, you feel comfortable having a normal conversation with. Like, he's your coach, yes, but there should also be a sort of relationship there that's on a more personal level. And I felt that with Coach Han, and similar to what I said at the last question, you know, he was super cool to my parents, and, you know, that's something that's important to me. So I just felt like Coach Han was the best of both worlds.
Gonna go to Brendan.
Hey Luke, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. My name is Brendan with Knowles 24/7. Looking at the scheme difference, I guess, you know, at Wake Forest was a very unique, at least elements, but were very unique. I guess what have you seen from this scheme, and how do you think that's going to fit your skill set to make the decision to be comfortable coming here?
Yeah, Wake Forest is different. Their offense was different. You know, the slow mesh, everyone likes to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, that's one aspect of it that's different. And then, you know, pass pros, pass pro, outside zones, outside zone, powers, power, counters, counter, stuff. I mean, that's all similar. So you take the slow mesh away, and the schemes itself are fairly similar. So it's not something I was super worried about.
Gonna go in the back to Jordan.
Hey Luke, Jordan Silversmith, Tomahawk Nation. You mentioned finding a new home. How have you acclimated to both the new locker room, the new coaching staff, and also just Tallahassee in general?
Yeah, I think that getting here, something that was super important to me was, you know, making friends on the team and, you know, immersing myself into the culture of the locker room. And it's something new for me. I hadn't done it in 5 years. I did it when I was a freshman at Wake Forest, but I hadn't done it, and now I'm 23 years old, so it's a little different. And I'm sure it's hard for guys that have been here to welcome in a transfer, but honestly, they've been super welcoming. The O-line room's been super welcoming to me. Everyone's, you know, welcomed me with open arms, and it's something I really appreciate. And I think that made the transition for me a lot easier.
Gonna go to Ira.
You know, historically, offensive line play is just there's always been so much talk about continuity and guys developing that chemistry over years. And but in college football now, it almost seems like impossible. How have things gone so far with, you know, bringing in these other transfers and then the returning guys kind of coming together?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we get together, we do drills, stuff like that, and, you know, that's kind of the start. I mean, it's January and you're not practicing and stuff like that, so it's hard in that sense. But, you know, getting together, doing drills, lifting together, being around each other, that's kind of the start of building continuity, I think. it's a process, and I think that once spring ball gets here, that's the time where you really can start, you know, ironing stuff out. So I think that will be a big time for us this spring. But for now, I think that the biggest thing is just being around each other, getting to know each other, doing what we can football wise, and you know, just more importantly, just bonding on a personal level.
Have time for a couple more. We're gonna go up to Chris.
I realized I didn't introduce myself last time. Chris Nee with Knowles 24/7. Is the plan to solely play center here? And as a center, having a lot of history there, how different is it snapping to different people, or is there a carryover regardless of who's behind you?
That's not really something I really think. I mean, I guess it's not different who you're snapping to. I guess it's just different who's playing quarterback and how they operate. That's probably the biggest difference. But you know, I've played center for my whole career. I've played a little bit of guard too. So I mean, it's whatever I'm needed at. I think I'm a good center, and I played center in the ACC for a long time and done it at a pretty high level. So I'm comfortable there. And if they need me to play guard, I feel like I can do that too. And I've done that before in the ACC. So it's whatever Coach Norvell, Coach Malzahn, and Coach Ham think is best for the team.
We're gonna go to Brendan here. We got time for a few more.
You talk about your relationship with Tommy Castellanos, I guess, and did you guys talk during your recruiting process? And obviously you're together now, I guess, how's that relationship been so far?
Yeah, Tommy, Instagram DM'd me when I went into the portal and was like, come to Florida State. And I was just like, all right, we'll see what happens. And then I committed, and then we started texting right away. And, you know, through that, you know, he's helped me when I was moving in. He was already down here, so he helped me move in, stuff like that. Was checking up on me, making sure I felt comfortable, stuff like that, so that was cool. And, you know, he's a really good dude. And 3 weeks I've gotten to get to know him. I can only say good things about him. He's a really genuine, good person, so.
All right, we're gonna go to the last one for Aslan.
Aslan Benjamini with theWordChant.com. Luke, with all these new guys coming together, I don't know if leadership is that much more important in this day and age, or if it's, you know, it's just all about talent. But are you trying to develop a leadership role? Have the coaches told you about who's they're looking at and leaning on, or is that something just organically has to happen?
Yeah, I don't think like leadership can be faked and stuff like that. And I think as a new guy, first thing you have to do is build trust if you want to be a leader. And you know, I was captain at Wake Forest, and I was a leader at Wake Forest for a good amount of time, and that was in part because I built trust over such a long period of time. So I mean, I'm not gonna force anything, and that's not my position to do. I'm not gonna sit here and try to force myself into a leadership role, because that's not how good leaders are born. So I think I'm just gonna, you know, do my part, try to be the best teammate I can possibly be, and if that means that's like brings me into a leadership role, I'm more than happy to, you know, take that on. But it's got to be natural, and I think that everyone knows that leadership has to come naturally.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you guys.
You too.